Hi, man. So I really enjoyed your performance in Old Man. I just thought you were fantastic, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, did you have any plans when you took on this role to single-handedly make Long Johns cool again?
Ah, well, it just kind of came to me that it would be the way to go with this particular role.
Yeah.
And I wanted that. I don't think I've worn them in a film ever, but it seemed to me to be the perfect opportunity to air these boys out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 5 minutes in, and I was like, oh, I got to get a pair of those. I don't think I can pull them off as well as you do, but they look super comfy. So.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And you can get that back breeze going too if you need it,
Yeah, no, I do want to talk about Old Man as much as I can without spoilers, because I went into the movie completely blind. That's not a Norman Nordstrom joke. I just didn't watch any trailers before I watched the movie, and I really enjoyed that. Do you think this is the sort of movie that a person should go into without watching a trailer?
I don't think it's a bad idea. To be honest, I mean, I've seen the film and I've seen the trailer, and I think it's a good trailer. Definitely, I don't think it's in any way misleading, but it also doesn't tell you everything. It just sort of, I think, prepares you for a bit of a, there's kind of an intimidating quality to it, I think. But I do think that this is a movie that one can go into just with an open heart and open eyes and kind of take it in and kind of go from there. It's a very unique piece, I think.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed it, and I really like going in not knowing what to expect exactly. Almost the entire film takes place in the old man's cabin, and for all practical purposes, the movie could be a stage play. So roughly how far into the script did you get before you knew this was something you wanted to do?
That's a wonderful question. I mean, I remember when it was sent to me, I started, it kind of just, it sort of perked my interest as I read, because I didn't know what I was reading. I didn't, I wasn't quite sure where it was going. It was, I thought the writing itself had an interesting quality that I hadn't quite encountered before, and certainly not in a conventional film sense at all. I think, as you say, I think very early on, I kind of felt I was reading something that maybe have been a theatrical piece, but as I began to think about it, it actually felt less like theater to me than it did like some kind of a tone poem. It felt almost like a very, very immediate piece of extemporaneous poetry. If I had to liken it to anything, it probably would be to Allen Ginsberg, Howl, because it had that almost immediate sort of aggression and intimidation and violence to it that I kind of associate with that. So there was something kind of beat about it, and I mean, like beat poet about it. And so that harkens back to a whole other kind of an age for me in a way. So that was just my impression. And after I finished it, I kind of put it down and I went, what the hell was that? And a lot of times I think when you respond to something with maybe, a little confusion, it's not such a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It really requires. So, I mean, maybe part of the reason I did the project was just to find out why I found the project so intriguing in the first place. Mm-hmm. You do it to find out why you're doing it.
Right. I love that answer, because I agree. I think that the worst thing you want in a movie is something that you watch and then you just forget about it. Right. But you want something that keeps you thinking afterwards. And so if you feel that way about the script, it just kind of lingered in your mind. I mean, I think that's a great indication of something that you would, want to, pursue. I remember I had the same sort of, I was taking English classes in college, and on the notes of criticism, same sort of thing, where it's like, you don't have to take all criticism, but if somebody says something that is bothering you a few days later, like that's something that maybe that's the thing that you should pay attention to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to say, I hope you don't mind me saying, but you are looking great. I think if most guys were in your shape at 30, they'd be doing pretty damn good for themselves. So is there any exercise or diet wisdom that you can impart that would, helps keep you in Colonel Quaritch shape?
Well, I have lots of diet wisdom and fitness stuff. I mean, my advice is, just stay flexible as you get older. That's where it's at. I'm done. I don't need to be as strong as I used to be anymore, because there's no way I'm going to be as strong as I was when I was 30 years old. But I can be pretty flexible if I can. So, I'm a great believer in yoga, of course, at this point in my life. And in terms of diet, I eat what I want, but just eat consciously. Understand what you're doing to yourself. Understand you're going to have to deal with the consequences of what you do,
Oh, I understand. I see it on my back fat all the time.
So it's actually pretty simple. If I'm involved in a project that demands that I be in a certain way, I mean, I have a very, very strong visual picture of whatever role I'm playing as a rule. And I just I eat accordingly to make that come about.
That's great advice. Actually, I appreciate that. I am asking selfishly, because I want to know what I need to be doing to get in a little bit better shape.
I mean, I can only see you from the chest down, but you don't look bad.
That's on purpose. That's on purpose. Down here,
you're naked from the waist down and like Jabba the Hutt, right? Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
No. Speaking of, I do have to ask, because for years I have been preaching to everybody. We talked about this a little bit last time I talked to you, but yeah, I've been preaching to everybody about how good Avatar 2 is going to be, because I'm like, James Cameron is just a legend. I got to ask, have you had a chance to watch a cut of Avatar 2 yet?
I have seen a lot of Avatar 2.
And it's going to be amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. There's no question about it. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and I've seen Avatar. It's pretty out there. It's beautiful. It's a very, very, aside from, the fact that it's absolutely gorgeous to look at and everything like that, it's just such a humane film. There's so much heart and feeling and passion in the movie that I think it's going to have a very, very broad appeal.
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I don't know if you've heard anything about this, but there's this big. I'm sorry in advance. I work for Comicbook.com, so I have to ask a nerdy question. I don't know if you've heard anything about this, but there was this big rumor that Harrison Ford is taking over the role of General Ross from the late great William Hurt. When news of that picked up, the reason why I bring it up is a lot of fans spoke up and said that they thought you would be a perfect replacement for that role. And I was just curious if word of that fan casting ever made its way back to you.
No, and I've learned to keep my mouth shut about stuff like that, because, as you well know, I put out one tweet years ago about saying, sure, I'll play Cable. And it became like all of a sudden that Slang is campaigning for the role and everything. So all I can say is that I think Harrison Ford is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actor, and I can't think of anybody better in that role, except for maybe one or two people, no, I have nothing to say upon those lines.
Yeah, no. I
wait the call from Stan Lee, from the ghost of Stan Lee. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, over the years, you've been fan cast as a lot of people, Cable, Sergeant Fury, just to name a few. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a character in the Marvel Universe whose name is Stephen Lang.
I am distantly aware of it, but I have no idea what he does.
Yeah, so he's a villain who manufactures Sentinels and tries to hunt mutants. So I mean, it's spelled differently, but you could do that.
No, that sounds like something that I could play. I mean, yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Stephen Lang, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
I'm campaigning to play Stephen Lang.
We're going to throw it out there. We'll get it out in the world.
Don't do that. Don't screw me.
No. I won't do that to you. I'm sorry. We'll asterisk that. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. And I'm really excited for people to see Old Man and Avatar Way of Water. I'm very excited. So thank you again for taking the time.
Always good talking. See you next time.